Modern enterprise IT implementations often fail, but rarely because of the technology itself. Organizations deploy highly advanced infrastructure, configure massive cloud environments, and integrate complex software suites, only to see their operations stall. The result is a technically robust system that generates zero actual business value. Resolving this disconnect requires stepping away from isolated technical metrics and adopting a structural framework known as enterprise architecture. This animated diagram outlines the four interdependent domains of that architecture: business, applications, data, and technology. The top two layers act as the strategic and functional drivers of the organization. The bottom two layers provide the informational and infrastructural foundations required to execute those operations. Enterprise architecture connects these four domains, guaranteeing that high-level strategy dictates the technical execution. To understand how these dependencies work, we have to construct this architecture from the top down. Viewing enterprise systems as a strict, interconnected hierarchy is the only way to prevent the deployment of expensive, isolated technical failures. We begin at the very top of the stack, the business domain. This is the ultimate anchor for the enterprise. It dictates how the organization operates and exactly how it creates value. Looking at this isolated top-level plane, you see the parameters that must be answered first: business model, value creation, and operating model. Before purchasing software, organizations must define their business model and revenue mechanisms, including the exact business capabilities needed to execute successfully. Clarifying these capabilities establishes firm strategic goals and operational priorities. It also forces immediate alignment across the enterprise, ensuring cross-functional teams and processes are moving toward identical targets. This establishes a strict rule for enterprise alignment. Technology must always serve the business. Designing technical systems without clearly understood business capabilities leads to implementations that drift away from actual operational needs. When business needs remain undefined, it creates a fatal structural flaw at the top that compromises the entire architectural stack below it. With the business goals defined, we move down to the second layer, the application domain. The business domain extends downward into the application domain, the software layer executing those operations. Every application must map directly upward to support a specific business capability. This downward mapping dictates dependencies, while defining integration architecture through lateral data exchanges between CRM and ERP nodes. These represent the major systems running the company, from customer relationship management platforms, enterprise resource planning software, to mobile applications and enterprise APIs. Within this domain, system responsibilities must be strictly defined to prevent operational overlap and internal friction. By mapping software directly to required business functions, organizations avoid the costly deployment of orphaned, purposeless applications. Software requires information to function, bringing us to the third layer, the data domain. Data packets drop from the application layer into three primary pools: customer, product, and employee data. Overseeing these requires strict data governance and explicit ownership for accuracy. Organizations must also map data flow metrics, tracking origins, movement across systems, and exact duplication points. Maintaining this rigorous oversight guarantees data quality, preserving integrity and consistency across the entire organization. Proper management at this layer yields trusted, actionable information for decision makers. Conversely, uncontrolled data movement and poor governance immediately compromise the applications and business logic relying on that information. The final layer provides the bedrock for the entire enterprise, the technology domain. This foundational plane sits beneath the data pools, containing core infrastructure like AWS, Azure, and Kubernetes. This layer houses network architecture, security controls, and operational platforms, including robotics and automation, providing a stable, secure, and highly scalable technical environment. But its existence relies entirely on upward structural dependency. Every technical support requirement originates from the business and application domains above it. A powerful cloud deployment or containerized cluster is functionally useless if it isn't structurally tethered to the operational needs of the upper three domains. When assembled, we have the complete enterprise architecture stack. Notice how a functional pulse originates at the business strategy node, routes downward through a CRM application, queries the customer data pool, and ultimately executes within the technology cluster. These four domains don't operate in static silos. They form a continuous, dynamic feedback loop of operational alignment. This blueprint matrix categorizes the sprawl of enterprise systems into four manageable layers. The business layer dictates the strategy, while applications provide the systemic execution of that strategy. The data layer provides the necessary information flow, while technology provides the physical infrastructure to host it all. Enterprise architecture serves as the ultimate structural mechanism, keeping all four of these essential domains in absolute lockstep. This comprehensive, top-down structural alignment guarantees long-term enterprise scalability, rigorous governance, and the successful execution of strategic business goals.